Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. You can listen to more and read more at michaelneill.org. And today, I wanted to kind of explore that feeling of everybody gets this but me. And it's a very common feeling. It's a feeling I have had at numerous points. I still have sometimes when I listen to people like George Pransky or Sid Banks or Elsie Spittle, and I go, oh my gosh, how do they see this and I don't see it? And it's interesting because at the moment, we're finishing up a 3-week program called the Advanced Course, and there's over 400 people, and we're just exploring, okay, what if this was real? Like, what if this isn't just an intellectual discussion? What if the mind really does work this way? What if we really do live in an experience of thought moment by moment, and there is this deeper intelligence behind it? And it's fascinating because it's so apparent that at different times, nearly everybody feels like they're the only one not getting it. And so I came up with what sort of a few rules of thumb, a few things worth knowing. And that are helpful if you feel like you're the only one who doesn't get the principles. And the first is, you can't compare your insides to someone else's outside and expect to learn anything useful. So we're all living in our own thought-created reality bubble. And it doesn't mean we can't learn to sense and intuit what's going on outside of us with other people. It just means that most of the time, when we look out into the world, most of what we see is our own thinking reflecting back at us. So I make you up as my image of perfection. I believe that everything you put on Facebook is true, and and at the same time I make up me as a worthless piece of crap, and whatever it is that I think is particularly wrong with me is me. Which is not unlike by comparing a photo of you at your best, tanned, dressed to kill, looking amazing on this amazing night out after a day of being massaged by the pool and hanging out by the ocean, with a picture of me after I've been working for 72 hours straight and had a colonoscopy. It's just not apples to apples. Now, this doesn't mean that other people might not see things about life that you don't yet see, or live in a nicer feeling more of the time than you do. It just means that, first off, you can't really know that. And secondly, it's not particularly relevant to your benefiting from a deeper understanding what other people see or don't see. And when you start to see that, you can adjust for it. You can take it into account. And when your head goes crazy and you have all these comparisons and judgments about yourself and others, you can kind of ignore them and just refocus on your own exploration. And so the second thing is, we talk about understanding. Understanding is kind of a confusing word for what we're talking about, because understanding for most people is kind of synonymous with getting the idea. But understanding in the transformative conversation is more about getting the joke than getting the idea. Because when you get the idea, you can talk about it intellectually at a dinner party. When you get the joke, you laugh. Now, the problem is, not getting a joke that everyone else is laughing at can seem a bit exclusionary. So we either kind of fake laugh along with them, ha ha ha, that's very wise, or, just to fit in, or we reject their laughter as fake, and we say, well, that's just not funny. There are no principles. I have my own truth. So in a way, we either give up on ourselves or we give up on everyone else. But there's another way of getting the joke, and that's a lot friendlier and, in my experience, a lot more fun. The minute you find your sense of humor, everything becomes funnier. And the minute you reconnect to your sense of insight, everything becomes simpler. So how do you find your sense of humor? Stop taking your thinking so seriously. How do you reconnect with your sense of insight? Stop taking your thinking so seriously. When we tune back in to our built-in capacity for understanding and insight, everything just starts to make more sense. We see our psychological innocence, that we're always doing the best we can to take care of ourselves given the way the world looks to us. We get insights into relationships, our ambitions, our work life. We start to see the futility of trying to become somebody amazing when we see that the other option is just waking up to how amazing we already are. And best of all, don't order yet. Best of all, we stop buying into thinking that anything good comes from pretending to see what we don't yet see or know what we don't yet know. We can just keep our inner eyes and ears open to seeing and hearing something more. Now, the third thing, and this is so just obvious once you see it, but totally non-obvious until you do. There's no exam, just your life. So I've taught thousands of people about the principles over the past decade, and I've noticed a very distinct difference between the people who listen as though they're studying for an exam and the ones who listen to be impacted by what they hear. Now, here's the thing. Somebody else might know the right answers for the exam if there was an exam. They might even be able to take the test for you. But no one else can climb inside and live your life for you. So what matters is what you get for you, not what you can repeat when asked. So I gave a talk at the 3PGC conference last year, and I spoke about the difference between researching and exploring. So when we research the principles, we're collecting data samples. We're making comparisons, we're drawing conclusions. When we're genuinely exploring, we come to the conversation with an open mind, ready and willing to throw ourselves into the unknown and see whatever's there for us to see. Instead of listening for the right answer, we look to see what's true. How do you know the difference? The truth is not made of words. So, a lot of you know I love the Tao Te Ching. The Taoist sage Lao Tzu wrote, "The Tao which can be expressed in words is not the eternal Tao. The name which can be uttered is not its eternal name." In other words, it doesn't mean there's no point talking about this stuff. Just that we can never capture it with what we say. So, look, you want to uncover your sense of humor, go hang out in comedy clubs. You want to uncover your sense of insight, go hang out in a transformative conversation. But wherever you're hanging out, if your head is full of comparisons and judgments and intellectual arguments and right answers, you're going to struggle. And faking it, oh, I understand, that's the guaranteed path to feeling like a fraud. Now, in any moment, this is the good news bit, in any moment, you can drop the quest to get it and turn your attention to what's behind it. The wordless, soundless truth that echoes in the silence of your deepest mind. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk to you soon.